In this video series, I'm going to show you two different ways that you can run a second operating system on your current machine. The first thing we're going to look at is using a virtual machine, and we're going to use something called VirtualBox to do that. And in the second video, I'm going to show you how you can install a second operating system alongside your current operating system. Now, with VirtualBox, what you want to do is find the version that goes with your machine. So if we go over on the left here to downloads, and that's actually where we are right now. And what we want to do is download the install files for your current system. Okay, so I need this one here. If you're running Windows, this will be the one you want to download. Or if you're using OS X or Linux or Solaris, you can download them there. So let's just save that. And then once it's saved, we're going to run it. Okay, so then we'll click on this. And then it's just a normal Windows install from here if you're using Windows. So we just go through here. You can usually just take the defaults here. Okay, so it's done, and now we can start the virtual machine, or the VirtualBox program, I should say. Okay, so here is VirtualBox installed. So what we want to do now is create a VirtualBox for what we're going to install. And I'm going to install something called SUSE Linux in this VirtualBox. So let's click New here. And I'll give it a name. I'll say SUSE Linux. So type is Linux and OpenSUSE 64-bit. So it already knew what I was after here, but if it doesn't detect it, you just go through here and find the type of machine that you want to create. Okay, and then same within here, you can pick the version that you want. Okay, let's click Next. Now, you have to allocate some of your memory to the VirtualBox because you're running two different operating systems at the same time. So how much do we need? It'll give you sample size here. So it's saying 768 megabytes. We'll do it for this particular type of machine. I'm just going to bump it up to 1 gig. Okay, let's click Next. So it will slow down your main machine a little bit while you're running VirtualBox. Okay, now you need to allocate hard disk space. So we're going to create a virtual disk. And we want the virtual disk image. Click Next. So we can dynamically allocate, or we can give it a fixed size. So let's click Fixed Size. Click Next. Okay, so it's saying here it's giving us 8 gigabytes. And you can adjust that up or down depending on what you think you need. I'm going to leave it at the minimum because I'm not going to do much with it. So let's create. And then it goes through and it allocates some resources to the disk. So right now it's creating a virtual disk, which is really just a file. And then once that's done, you can install the operating system. So we'll just wait for that to finish. Okay, and now it comes up with what has been allocated here. So you can go through this. We have the general information up here. So we have 1024 megabytes floppy, optical, hard drive, and the acceleration here. Down here we have the display, storage, and so on. You don't really need to worry about all this, but you can see that it has all the different parts. So what we need to do now, since we're already clicked on this, so what we need to do is click Settings. Okay, so we're on the General tab now. So it just gives us the name of it and tells us what it is. We have Advanced here. It's showing you where it's installed, sharing in the clipboard. Okay, description, encryption. You don't really need to change anything there. We have System. This is showing you what you've allocated to the virtual machine when you're running within the virtual machine. Display, this is just showing your display information that's going to be used in the virtual machine. This is our storage. Okay, audio, network, serial ports. Okay, so you can just see all the different parts here, shared folders, and user interface. So let's go back up to storage here. You'll see here, if we click on this, it says empty. Now, this is where we're going to be installing the system. Now what we want to do is click on this right here. And then we want to choose an optical disk file. Okay, so here's our OpenSUSE file. I have already downloaded it. So let's open. And then we'll click OK. Now what we want to do is go Start. Okay, so boot from hard disk, installation, upgrade, and so on. Okay, so let's just go down to installation. Okay, so here's our license agreement. We'll click Next. Okay, so it's checking our system properties here, making sure everything's okay. Okay, normally you'd probably want to check these two things, but I'm just going to go ahead and keep going here. And this isn't going to be really a lesson about SUSE Linux. It's more just to show you how to install it. Okay, so we're going to just, these are the partitions that it wants to use. So we'll just create the partition setup. Okay, so then we get our country. Okay, different types of desktops you can use. Okay, you put your username and your password, your full name. Confirm your password. Okay, so we'll fill it in. Click Next. It doesn't like my password, but we'll just continue here. Okay, so we'll just click install. Okay, so now it says welcome to OpenSUSE, and then we continue along here. You'll see the progress along the bottom. Now, anytime if you want to see the details of your installation progress, you can click here where it says details, and it shows you what it's doing. So you can just keep an eye on it here. And we'll just wait for it to finish now. Okay, so at this point, it has all been installed. So let's click close down here. And it's now installed. So I'm not going to go really into SUSE, but this is our main menu here. And then you just go from there. Okay, so in the next video, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you can install it side by side with your current operating system, in this case, Windows.